Good morning. How's it going? It is Saturday, January 25, 5:46 in the morning here in Western Iowa. Hope you're doing well. Sorry about yesterday. I missed because I had a quick hitter stomach bug. It's not fun. Stomach's still a little rumbly, but I'm feeling better. So let's jump into the weather because we got some big pattern changes coming. That's going to have a massive difference in the western U.S., the southwestern U.S., and eventually through the plains and Midwest. This morning, it is freezing cold in Florida, all the way down to Tampa almost. Freeze warnings there, getting into southern Georgia and parts of Alabama. Up there in the eastern Great Lakes, I still have a winter storm watch there off of Lake Ontario. Lake Erie's almost frozen though, so probably less lake effect snow there, even though there will be some winds. And we see a little bit more winter weather advisories up there off of Lake Superior and the UP of Michigan and extreme northern plains as well. And we're starting to see more activity in the west. We have some wind, Oregon into Northern California. We have cold temperatures along the coast of San Francisco down through the central California coast with freeze watches. And then we're starting to get into winter weather advisories, Sierra Nevada, even into the mountains of Southern California, and a winter storm watch even for the San Gabriels. So that is good news. Also, winter storm watches and winter weather advisories into Nevada and Arizona. But ahead of the storm, red flag warning for parts of Arizona. Some pretty strong winds there on the Mogollon Rim and still dry until it's not, which that's coming. All right, here's your temperature change from this time yesterday. Much warmer Midwest, Central Plains, Southern Plains, even the Southwest. And we have a trough digging in the west that's going to cause warm air to bubble up ahead of that, moving towards the east. But it's going to get much cooler in the western U.S. and then eventually even into the plains. Current temperatures out there, look at those freezing temperatures almost down to Orlando. It's like 27, 28 in Jacksonville. Oh my goodness. Teens and 20s, in the south. So it's still hanging on to your cold there, even though the snow's mostly gone. Colder when you head up into New England, but warmer than it's been. For lows, 20s in Iowa is warm. But still 9 in Minot. It's still cold up there in the northern plains. And the west is starting to chill out. So your surface for today, there's your fire weather danger for southern Arizona and the Mogollon Rim of Arizona with winds and still dry conditions. But good news for California, rain, snow, maybe even a few thunderstorms, but the moisture welcome. Snow in Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and then you see your Great Lakes activity. And ahead of the low, we're going to show you this, but some heavy rain headed for Texas and maybe even further east than that. For tomorrow, we see that system in the west is going to take its sweet time, and that's good. Plenty of moisture for Southern California into Arizona and Nevada. Ahead of the storm, we're seeing thunderstorms, Texas, Louisiana, showers in the southeast, and there you see a little bit of snow for the Great Lakes. In fact, your 48-hour precipitation looks good for Southern California. It could be an inch or more for San Diego into LA. And some of that is snow. That's our next frame, as you know. Looks like pretty good rains for eastern Texas into Louisiana. Again, another inch, inch and a half, maybe approaching 2 in some areas. And then your snow up there in the Great Lakes, modest amounts, except for off of Lake Ontario and upstate New York, where they're already buried. They're going to get more buried. UP of Michigan, too. And some pretty good snows, Sierra Nevada through Nevada into Utah and Colorado. And by the time we get into Monday, we're still dealing with our system in the southwest, making slow eastward progress, but still rain and snow, California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico with some snow, and still with some rain, Texas all the way to North Carolina, and still lake effect snow off of Ontario is where your heavy snow is, lighter snow around the Great Lakes. So let's take out the upper air pattern because this is really going to show what's going on. This is currently. Now, what you see here is, see these lines just going straight south. And as the jet stream digs south, this low is going to bottom out and form near California and then barely move. So this is already Monday, and you see that low just setting up over the desert southwest. with all that rain in California. And the bottom of the trough is where we're seeing this low form. This gets us into Wednesday. So you see how slow this is moving. Now I wanted to show you this frame right here. You see all this activity here. So when you have a cutoff low like this, and a cutoff low just means it's cut off from the jet stream, so there's nothing to drive it or move it. So your polar jets up here in the Great Lakes where they're seeing clipper systems, but this cutoff low doesn't have anything to really move it along. And so you see, this instability across the Southwest. Now, when you get into Texas and Louisiana, what happens is you have defluence above your head. And so these winds are going like this, these winds are going like this, these winds are going like this. And as they spread out above your head, that lowers the pressure above your head and has to be replaced with rising air. And well, rising air causes showers and storms. And so the rain's going to get pretty heavy out ahead of this low. So this gets us into Thursday morning. And then as we get into Friday, you see the low making slow progress eastward with, you're going to see some snow busting out in New Mexico. Arizona first, then New Mexico, and maybe even West Texas could get a good dump of snow. Congratulations to my friends that are there. And then as we get into this weekend, we've got another system coming. See this trough being dug out again with another low that's going to form. This low gets kicked out by this one behind it and moves across the plains into the Midwest for a good snowstorm, it looks like. For places that haven't had much snow, I'm looking at Nebraska and Iowa, and maybe eventually into Wisconsin. And then this trough just keeps getting dug out. So we have another little system forming here, but this is the main piece of energy. And it goes even further south, because when you have system after system digging out a trough, it tends to dig it deeper. And so the pattern change is almost here, and it's going to make a big difference for California, the Southwest, and into the plains. Now let me switch over to the surface, and starting this morning, this is where your precipitation is. And that light snow, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and then as our low forms on the surface, we're starting to see that rain coming down in Southern California, and there's your showers and thunderstorms ahead of the low. This is Monday almost already, so this gets into Monday. And remember, this low is going to be a slow mover. So this is already Wednesday, and we're starting to see a little bit of snow bust out in New Mexico and that rain out ahead of it. And of course, we've got our polar jet across the Great Lakes, so clipper system with light snow, a little heavier off of Lake Ontario. And then as we get further into time, this is getting into this Thursday morning, January 30th, 6 a.m., heavy rain, West Texas, North Texas, East Texas, South Texas, into Louisiana, but heavy snow in New Mexico, even east central New Mexico. And you can watch that develop. I mean, just New Mexico getting pounded with snow here. And as we go further in town, that snow spreads into town if you're in Lubbock and Amarillo. This gets us into Friday, the 31st. And as we go, that low lifts northward, and we're seeing a snowstorm here in western Iowa, eastern Nebraska, which we have very little snow so far this year. This is the 1st, Saturday the 1st, at noon. Now, I plan on leaving at 6 a.m. to drive to my new job in North Texas. Will I get to drive through a snowstorm? Maybe. I'm thinking about maybe leaving Friday. But we'll see how this, we have a few more days for all of this to figure itself out. So, and then behind that, we have another system, and the west and the southwest stays active. There's another big storm getting towards the 9th. So the pattern change is going to make a big difference for places in the country that haven't had a lot of cold and snow. It's your turn west and southwest. It's great relief for LA and even San Diego, where a new fire started yesterday. So cooler west and southwest, and warmer central and east. Northeast hanging on to the cool. This is 6 to 10 day temps. And precipitation wise, it's going to be heavy rain, Texas into the South Plains and getting into the mid-south, even the southeast and the northwest as well. So big pattern change coming with maybe some big snowstorms here in the Midwest eventually. But the Southwest gets it first, and we'll keep you posted as we go. So thanks again for tuning in the Weather Mike. We'll see you tomorrow.